Hello, hello, hello. It's Knits for Sanity, and welcome to my WIP Chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress, so grab whatever project you're currently working on, hobby, craft, chore, exercise, whatever it may be, and let me chat with you for a while. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. I am so happy you're here. Or perhaps this is your 22nd time here, or maybe it's 23rd. I don't know for sure how many WIP Chats there are now, but maybe you're an old friend by this point. In any case, I'm really happy to have you here. All right, so what am I working on? My very first holiday or Christmas diamond painting. And I really love the holidays. And so I'm very excited. I chose the Gnome Carolers as my first diamond painting. I had a little bit of debate. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this one or the one from Oraloa that I unboxed a few weeks ago. I decided on this one because it's smaller and it's round drills, and round just sounded kind of nice to me. Give me a little bit of a break from doing squares for a while. So that's what I'm doing. The scene on this nice wintry scene is almost an exact replica. No, it's not. No. This is calmer, actually. This is a calmer winter scene. To what we have had here. If you are not aware, I always say I live in the middle of nowhere, but I live in rural Michigan, and it has been snowy. I'm going to show you two different pictures that are antipodes of one another. One I put on social media yesterday, which, by the way, you are welcome to follow me on Instagram, Knits for Sanity. You can look me up. You'll get a lot more pictures of like the kids and stuff like that. So definitely you are welcome to come follow me. And this is the picture I put on social media yesterday, and some other people got it, and everyone just loves this picture. Like on Facebook, I had so many comments about, oh, it is gorgeous, or you're making me really love snow or miss snow, depending on where they live. And so this is the first picture. Just, gorgeous wintry scene. I happened to catch this yesterday morning after I put my son on the bus. This doe was just standing there. There were actually several other deer there too. And if you look very carefully, you can see another doe right behind her. Just the head sticking there, But this beautiful winter scene, which for me, I thought it was kind of a cool picture, but like this is the kind of thing that I see regularly. And it's not until I post pictures like this and people comment about, oh, that's gorgeous, that I remember that is unique for a lot of people. Most people don't just look outside and see woods and deer regularly, and I do. Okay, so that's the first picture. The beauty of winter, right? Winter wonderland, just gorgeous. All right, this is the second picture. Okay, that's my oldest daughter this afternoon. When it was snowing and snowing and snowing. And, oh, did I mention that it was snowing? Yes, so this picture, you can kind of see just how heavy that snow is coming down. We got, so far, we probably got, I don't even know, 6 to 8 inches of snow the last time I checked outside today. I mean, just so much snow. So the kids already don't have school tomorrow. It's already been closed, snow day. It's not normal that we have snow days starting as early as November. It's not that it has never happened before, but it is definitely not the norm. But the kids are now home tomorrow already. So that meant that tonight I really had to get this WIP Chat done, because I haven't done one yet this week, not since my daughter's birthday WIP Chat, which, for those of you who tuned in and commented and such, thank you so much. I find it so amusing, and it makes me pleased, and it's just really sweet. For her birthday, she wanted to do a WIP Chat with me, which I love, and I'm reminded that it's not always going to be like this. Just a few more years, and the idea of doing a WIP Chat with Mom probably will just sound horrible. And so it was so sweet that that's what she really wanted to do for her birthday. So if you did tune in and you listened to her talk, and for those of you who did comment, thank you so much for that. That meant a lot to her. So I really do appreciate all of you who did that, and all of you who listened. Thank you so much. But anyway, it's just been such a terribly busy week. I have not had any time to do a WIP Chat. And then I was thinking, well, that's all right. I'll just have to do it during the day on Friday. So, a day later than normal, which last week I had to do Friday as well because I was so sick with my sinus infection last week. But then they canceled school, which the nice thing is I love it when they cancel the night before, because then the kids aren't getting up to then find out that it's a snow day. And by then, they're awake, and you can't hardly ever go back to sleep after that. So I really like it when we're able to find out the night before that school's closed. And school's closed. Yeah. And to add to that, I'm not sure about the whole validity of all of this, but I do know that our county, there have been some very substantial financial issues going on within our county. I know that there was some embezzlement at some time. I know that our county is bankrupt. Clearly there has been some very significant mismanagement of funds that has happened. And I have been told that as a result, our ability for clearing snow has been deeply affected. And based on what I witnessed today, typically when you first start getting, with your first winter storm, typically the plow guys are overzealous, all right? They are out there. They are running those plows all the time. Not so much necessarily like on our street, the street that we live off from, because we are out a little ways. But even in our street, the plow will go through several times during the day. Normally, during your first winter storm, or first real snowfall of the year. We have not had that. I had to leave late this morning, and it was clear that a plow had not been through since very early that morning. The road was very messy, very snow covered. So I am kind of anxious to see what this may mean for this winter. I don't know. If our county can't afford plow guys, and if we couldn't afford enough salt and sand, I don't know. It could be a really, really rough year. Kids could have a lot of snow days, which in turn means school could go quite late this year. We've had years in the past where there have been so many snow days we have to, I'm trying to remember. One year I feel like we had to have an extra, it was ridiculous, like 8 days at the end of the school year because there were so many snow days. The state allows you to build in up to 8 snow days in your calendar. I think it's 8, or is it only 6? I want to say 8 days. I used to know. I'm trying to think, why can't I remember? It's 6 or 8 days, and for some reason, it's just escaped my mind. It's because I'm old and tired, and it's been a really busy week. But anyway, you get a certain number of snow days. I think it's actually 6 that you can build into your academic year. When you use those days up, you can then request an additional 3 from the state that won't have to be made up. Now that will need to be approved, but it's basically always approved. I have never heard of a situation where a district has requested an additional 3 days and not had that approved. But you do need to request it. You do need to wait for approval on that. But then anything above and beyond those days need to be made up at the end of the year. And I do remember several years ago, the kids missed, it was almost a full month of school. In fact, it really was. It was something like 24 snow days. It was insane. So that school year did go a little bit long, which was problematic for some families because a lot of families do family vacation like right after school gets out and stuff. And I mean, I guess those families didn't care so much because they were going to go no matter what. And there weren't enough kids that were going to be out because you also need a certain percentage of students in your building in order for the day to even count as an academic day. And there weren't enough of them that were going to be gone on family vacations to have messed with that at all. So I guess it was fine. But anyway, that's a lot of rambling just to say that we live in the middle of nowhere. I think our county plowing and sanding services are going to stink purple pink this year. So roads are going to be atrocious all winter, and my kids might be home a lot this winter. Just depends on the type of winter we have. You know, sometimes we don't get a whole lot of snow. Sometimes it's 30 below. And then they have to close school because it's too cold. That was a few years ago. It was I took screenshots of, it's like 34 below. And that's 34 below Fahrenheit if you're not from here, which is freaking cold. Around here, I used to remember they don't close school until it's either 10 or 15 below zero. I can't remember. It needs to be really, really cold before they close school. And it's different throughout all of the state. Like where I'm from, which is further south in the state, they probably close school sooner than 15 below. Just because it's so rarely that cold down there, that my guess is probably maybe 5 below they close school. I honestly don't know, but it varies. It varies throughout the state. Where I live now, because of moving, I actually live in a completely different temperate zone than where I grew up. And there are several factors for that. The first is the obvious geographical. I moved further north. So, that's factor number one. You move further north, you get closer to the Arctic Circle. That's just kind of how it works. Factor number 2 is I do live at a bit of a higher elevation than where I grew up. And then fact number 3, I grew up right along Lake Michigan, which the Great Lakes are a wonderful insulator, keep you quite a bit warmer during the winter, actually. So those three factors combined account for why I live in now a completely different temperate zone. So where I grew up, we had longer growing seasons, and yeah. And up here, our winters are colder and summers are shorter, and our trees get leaves much later and our leaves fall off much earlier, and we have a lot more winter. Anyway, so that is our current excitement is winter storm. We're under a winter storm warning all the way until Saturday morning right now, which that's quite a while, actually. Usually it's just like for a night. But when I was driving this morning, already like 11:30, I passed a road sign, one of those electronic road signs, on my way down to bring my daughter to her wellness check, her 11-year well child visit. And that's where I first saw that we were under a winter storm warning all the way until November 19th, 7 a.m. And I said to Evie, I said, what's the date today? She's like, it's the 16th or 17th. And I said, it is only the 17th, isn't it? This warning is in effect until Saturday morning. And that's when I started thinking, uh-oh, the kids might be home tomorrow. And based on the driving conditions today, by late this afternoon, when I got daughter number 2 from wrestling practice, I took her home, I was pretty certain that, yeah, there would be no school tomorrow. And there's no school tomorrow. So that's a very, very long-winded way to explain that I really had to get this WIP Chat done now, because I can't do it tomorrow because the kids will all be home during the day tomorrow. So this evening, I finished kitting up this diamond painting. And it was the worst kitting up experience I have yet encountered. It was awful. Awful. It took me hours. Hours and hours and hours. This is not a large diamond painting, okay? There are 41 colors. There's not like bags and bags of one color, okay? This should not have been a multiple hours long endeavor, and yet it was. And it was so awful. I wanted to murder somebody. The children knew, oh, do not bother Mom. Mom is having some problems back there. We don't know what's going on, but do not bother that woman because she is acting crazy. Static. Good gravy. Okay? Snowstorms mean like zero moisture in the air indoors. We have nothing. It's dry as a bone in here. Which means all of those drills become like little electrons that just poof. It was very bad. Very, very, very bad. I read things by people that are like, oh, I just stick my drills into the freezer for a while and then I take them out and no problem, it's all better. I stuck my drills in the freezer. That did nothing. Except made cold drills. That did absolutely nothing. I have my dryer sheets and everything. But this is what I think I have decided. I don't know if I will do another kit during the winter. Certainly not when it's super dry indoors. That does not already come in Ziploc bags and zip bags for their drills. Because this having to, because this is Diamond Art Club. So it comes in a long sleeve, and then you have to cut the sleeves apart, and you have to cut the little sleeve bag open and then pour them out. Versus some companies, your kit comes already kind of kitted up. It already comes in zipper bags and resealable bags. Just a second. I need some LaCroix. And then I always take and re-kit that into some kind of a different, like, you know, some kind of a plastic container type solution. And the problem with like the Diamond Art Club method for static purposes is you can't then just stick a little hunk of dryer sheet into that bag that the drills come in and seal it and then shake that bag to have the drills calm down. You can't do it because, like, I don't know. I mean, you can't, because the bag, you have to cut into this bag. There's no way to reseal it. So even if you cut a little hole and try and stick this tiny little bit of, you know, fabric sheet in there, then even shake, I mean, you can't do it. So I came up with a method that was lousy and it took forever. But I will tell you what I did. In case you have encountered this and you're like me and you're thinking, well, I could try and just spray it all down, you know, get a spray bottle with water and start just misting everything. But I mean, then you have wet drills and that's not really going to work either. So this is what I ended up having to do. Hold on. All right. I will do a demonstration. All right. Kind of. I don't have any bags left. Fortunately, I did finally get them all done. But I would snip open a bag, okay? And I would have a piece of dryer sheet already in my tube, okay? So dryer sheet already in the tube. All right. Then this is what I would do. I would stick the tube with the dryer. In fact, I'll go like this to give you a better idea. But I did actually have like 4 pieces of dryer sheet in this tray, all right? So dryer sheet in the tube that the drills are going to go into, 3 to 4 pieces of dryer sheet in this large tray from Bella Art de Nicole. Put my tube into my drill tray. All right, snip the bag open. Then, couldn't use my funnel because that's more plastic, all right? Bad news. So no funnel. Unless I get, I don't know, maybe a funnel made out of ice would have worked. Then I carefully take my bag and position it over here and try and tap out as many drills as I can to fall into this tube first, all right? And, you know, the drills, they're all stuck to the sides of the bag. And sometimes they go flying out and vroom, they like fly and they stick to something plastic somewhere else. I mean, I will be finding drills all over for days to come. Excuse me. And like, not just on the floor. I mean, I'd probably have 10 drills stuck somewhere to my body yet. But I would try and tap out as many drills as I could in here first, all right? Once I was done with that, the rest were just totally stuck in the bag. There was nothing else I could do. I would then move this to the side. Then I would cut my plastic bag a little bit more open so I could tap, 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 and get all the rest of the drills out of that bag. Most of them, hopefully, ideally, landing in my tray with the 3-4 pieces of dryer. I started with 3 and I wound up with 4, okay? So I had 4 little pieces of dryer sheet in the tray. All right, with the drills, okay? And then, of course, I'd have several floating around here too, but most of them would be in here. All right, then I would close my tray and I would shake the living daylights out of the drills that were in here with the 4 pieces of dryer sheet, and I would not take this lid off yet. I would shake, 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 okay? Then I'd take my stopper out, and I would shake, 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 shake. Shake this one real good. Okay, so the drills in here are now as calm as I can get them. Then pour the drills from in here into here. Then, once I was pretty sure I had basically all of them out, I'd open this up. There might be 1 or 2 left in here. Use my finger, static. Slide them off into the container here. And I do the same thing. Take my finger and pick them all up and slide them off into here. And that, folks, is how I managed to kit this up. And it took me hours. Hours and hours and hours. And I am absolutely serious. Unless it comes in a bag that's already resealable and I can stick a piece of dryer sheet in there and then actually reseal it and try and shake that bag up, I don't know if I'm going to bother kitting up another Diamond Art Club painting all winter, because this was a nightmare. So there you go. That's But if you run into my situation and you are just desperate to get through it, that's how I did it. Now you know. So everything has dryer sheets. I got dryer sheets everywhere. It smells like dryer sheets. It was an adventure. And not the good kind of adventure. It was my least favorite diamond painting adventure I have thus far had. So static is not my friend. And now I just think all drills should come in resealable bags from the get-go. And that's the only reason, so that I can actually put a piece of dryer sheet in there and shake it anyway. I'm moving on. I am. I'm moving on now. I'm good. I'm all right. Deep breaths, right? Deep breaths. I'm on to the good part now. I'm actually diamond painting. See, look, we just in and out, pick up the drills, put the drills down. It's going to be okay. Okay. All right. There we go. I am done. I am done with my little tirade. All right. So, some basic channel updates or additional channel info. If you watched the Diamond Art Club 12 Days of Sparkle Advent Calendar opening, you may notice that I am actually using 2 of the cover minders that came from that. I did go ahead and I hot glued magnets back on. I've decided that the Diamond Art Club cover minders, cute as the dickens. Like, they are adorable. But the magnets are so little, and that's part of the reason why I think, too, they don't, because I said that they always come to me either broken or I use them one time and then they break right away. I think some of that is maybe because the magnets are so tiny. And then they're not strong because they're so small. And I've been using, like good cover minders for a while now. Because I had my October things, so I was using from Bella Art de Nicole cover minders. So I've been using cover minders with a more heavy duty magnet on them. And it really makes a difference. So they're so cute, but I'm not, because what I like to do is I like to just slide my cover minder over, like if I have to put my paper down, and then just slide it back. But I can do it a little bit with this tree, but the stacking, I lose the magnet. See, I lost the magnet. It's not a big deal, and they're really cute, but they always come broken, and I just like something that's a little bit stronger, a little bit more of a magnetic force to it, I guess. Anyway, they're cute. They're the only Christmas ones I have. They were supposed to go into stockings for the girls, but by the time I went through and I hot glued them back together, and then I'm like, the magnets are really not very strong. I'm just going to keep them and use them. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm using those as well as, of course, the drill pins. So I decided these are the items for me. What else? Oh, so additional Christmas advents. I did talk about it in that 12-day opening. Diamond Art Club at 12 Days of Sparkle advent calendar opening. But I will be actually doing 2 others. One is another 12-day diamond painting advent. And that is from Admore Zest. She put out an advent calendar this year. I was not fast enough to be able to get their 24-day, but they very, very graciously went ahead and created a 12-day calendar once they realized that demand was so high. So I have that one coming. That has not gotten to me yet, but that's on the way. So I'm going to be doing that. But then I did get their 24-day Advent diamond painting. And so I will be doing that every day too in December. So for 12 days, I will do their Advent calendar. And then for 24 days, I will be doing the diamond painting. And I think I'll combine those videos, make it into one. And then I'm really considering throwing in the third thing too and just doing it all together. Like doing, I'll just tell you. So then way back in June for my birthday, I bought myself another advent calendar, and that is a yarn advent calendar. One of my absolute most favorite hand dyers, Happy Mermaid Yarns out of California. They offered an advent calendar this year, but you had to be signed up and purchased already in June. So June is my birthday, and so that was my birthday present this year, was this advent. And that I've already received, and that one will actually start November 30th. And then it's 24 days after that. So what I am thinking about doing is, because they're just super tiny little unboxings, every day it's just one more little bag. I think I will do both openings for the yarn and the Admore Zest for those first 12 days at the same time. And then I will diamond paint my little square. So I think I'll do like all 3 things together. And then the Admore Zest calendar, I will be done with that after only 12 days. And then the other 2 will continue through the 24 days. So that's what I think I'm going to do. And I'm kind of excited about it, because then it's like every day you'll get a little bit of additional Christmas. And every day you can hopefully not have to listen to me rant too much about things, but instead hopefully just get, fun stories. That's my hope. So that is what is happening for the holidays. Eventually at some point in my social media life, I would love to reach a point where like I could offer my own type of advent at some point. Because I love the holidays, and I love coming up with little things like that, like little gifts. My husband grew up doing the 12 Days of Christmas, but they did the 12 Days of Christmas kind of backward. It was Christmas Day was day 1, and then they went out from there for 12 days. And the reason why they did that is because my husband had a sister who was born January 5th. And I think I've mentioned it before. Her birthday was January 5th, which if you make Christmas Day day 1, January 5th is then your 12th day. She passed away at 17 months. And this was a way that they could continue to celebrate Kate in a fun and joyous way was by doing the 12 days of Christmas. So my husband, since he was, I'm not sure when my mother-in-law started doing that, but I would guess that my husband was probably about 6. His sister died when he was 4. And it's actually some of his earliest memories is seeing his sister in the coffin. And so I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that first Christmas, she probably would not have been thinking that way. But my guess is probably by the time my husband was 6, they were doing the 12 days of Christmas. So my husband grew up doing that. And then when my kids were little, and well, then when I joined the family, my mother-in-law was still doing the 12 days of Christmas for a while, even with me, like when I came in. And then she did stop for a little bit, just a couple years. She didn't do it anymore for Dave and me. And I mean, that was fine. We were young adults at that point and married. But then when we had children, well, then that sparked a whole new interest in doing it again. So for several years, she continued doing 12 days for my kids, which was really cool. And just like I said, it's one of the things that I really feel like she did really, really well. And just thinking about creative parenting and ways of dealing with grief while simultaneously, like I said, it was a way to still celebrate Kate and to still celebrate her birthday. The other thing that I always thought was really sweet is every year on Kate's birthday, my father-in-law would get my mother-in-law roses that would match the number of years since Kate had been born. Or to put it in a more depressing way, how old Kate would have been if she were still alive. And so by the time my mother-in-law died, she was getting over 30 roses on January 5th. And I always thought that was really neat too, a really special way for him to let her know, hey, she's never forgotten. This was, a beautiful part of our lives, and this is a huge loss. And, it just really neat. So all of that comes from doing things like the advent calendars and stuff. And I just love doing that kind of thing. I grew up too doing a 24-day Advent where every day, we read a Bible scripture and then we hung up a little ornament on this Christmas tree. And so I'm totally into that kind of thing. Anyway, some point in my time doing this, I would love to be able to organize that kind of thing. I think it'd be so cool. All right, 775. Let's keep going here. Here we go. Other updates. I don't really think I have other updates necessarily. Biggest thing, again, I mentioned it a couple WIP chats ago. I know that if you are not a creator on YouTube, I know how annoying it can be when you hear YouTubers say, please like this video and subscribe to my channel and please comment and share my videos. I know that it can feel like this repetitive drum that just never stops drumming and can get kind of annoying. Like I get it, but as a creator, I can tell you that it is so important. So important. So I'm not, and I share that not just because obviously, please do like my videos. And if you would be so inclined to subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. And please do comment. And, if there's any videos you want to share, yes, please do all of that for me. But really, I want you to be aware of that for all YouTubers. That is why they are always asking and almost pestering their viewers about that. Is that very sadly and unfortunately, that's how YouTube works. And that's just the way it is. Content creators, they put in a lot of work doing their videos. And then to realize the only way that YouTube is going to allow your videos to ever be seen is by having people like and subscribe and comment and share. So that's why. And I just, for some reason, felt really compelled to mention it again today, that's why you hear that all the time on YouTube channels. But that's it. I don't think there's any other major channel updates going on right now. Like I said, it's been a super, super busy week. Monday did indeed kick off the wrestling season. All Michigan winter sports, their official start date was Monday. In our house, of course, that just means that wrestling season started. In many other households, that means basketball season or hockey season, but not here. In this house, it's strictly wrestling. At least for daughter number 2, of course. So she has been to practice all week already. She is starting to get familiar with the new kids who have joined the team. I must say, there are a lot of freshmen on the team this year, which is so cool to see. And when I went into the wrestling room to get my daughter, and I'm looking at all of these freshmen, it occurred to me that I may have a little something to do with why some of these kids are in the wrestling room this year. Last year, I was working full-time at the middle school, and I spent most of the time with the 8th grade. And they all kind of knew. They would say, well, she comes from a wrestling family. And they knew that wrestling was kind of a big deal in our household. It's really just my middle daughter and me and my son who are really into wrestling. But these kids were aware that my daughter was part of the high school team as a 6th grader last year. And they knew that I really enjoyed wrestling. And I encouraged all of them, you try wrestling. You got to try wrestling. So a lot of them did middle school wrestling for the first time last year. At one point, one kid tried to quit the team. Someone else kind of tattled on him and said, so-and-so quit. And I'm like, what? But he is so talented. Like, he had never wrestled before, and he steps out there, and he was good. I went and I hunted that kid down. I saw him at a drinking fountain. I'm like, hey, I hear you quit the wrestling team. What are you thinking? And he's like, no, I'll come back. I'll be back next week. He came back. Then he thought he was going to do basketball in high school. And I said, oh, no, you got to do wrestling. You need to do wrestling. Well, him and another kid that was like, no, basketball's my thing. They are both in that wrestling room. Just saying. We did get some horrifically bad, heartbreaking, actually, news regarding wrestling. Unfortunately, I can't talk a ton about it because it's not actually my kid, but favorite athlete, Trent, senior year, and he will not be able to wrestle at all. Yes, if you've been following along, it is all due to the injury that he sustained at that district football game. So I am absolutely heartbroken for him. Just gutted. My daughter is just crushed. She feels terrible for him. And of course, that's how she got to know him and he became favorite athlete, was because of wrestling. And this was his final year. He's not wrestling anymore. And it's heartbreaking to realize he's already wrestled his last bout and didn't know it. This was supposed to be his year. It's him and one other kid on the team, both phenomenal wrestlers, very, very good. And they're great kids. Seniors, and it was supposed to be their year. The two of them, this was supposed to be their year to really lead and do just great things on the mat this year. And now he can't. And I just feel so bad for him. So bad. My daughter informed him that he cannot quit the team. He can become a manager, and that she would be happy to offer him a position. It was so stinking cute. She sent him a text message letting him know all of this. It was really darling. She's like, you cannot quit. You can become a manager, and I would be happy to offer you the position. So he is sticking around. He's planning to stick around and still be, he really is still on the team. He is still part of the team. It just stinks. It just stinks so much. And right now, there haven't been any tournaments or anything yet. They're just practicing. So right now, I don't think it's really hit him what that means. And it will very soon. When we have that first tournament, when we start doing more tournaments, and he starts watching the other kids wrestle, and I think then it's really going to hit him, and I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be really painful. And it stinks. It just stinks. So that is a major disappointment. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And I had talked about how football too is one of those sports where most kids after high school, you never play it again. Wrestling is the same thing. After high school, you're not going to play again. And poor Trent, his time doing it got cut even shorter than what it should have been. So, but still, excitement is great in the house for wrestling season. Last night, I took Veda to what ended up being her first ever college wrestling tournament. We were supposed to go to a tournament last year for University of Michigan for her birthday, but that all fell apart. But one of our wrestlers that my daughter likes to tell you, she has watched him from the very beginning. He started wrestling in 7th grade, and I have been watching him since he started wrestling, which is indeed all true. He now wrestles for a university not that far away from here. And last night they had their first home tournament. And I took her to that, which she absolutely loved. She loved being able to go to it. But now this is what's going to be really amusing. So Sunday, I am taking her to a University of Michigan wrestling tournament. And we're doing that so that when we go with this group in January, both of us will know the lay of the land. We'll know where to park. We'll know how getting into the arena works. We will know where we want to try and sit. We'll know approximately how early we should get there. Because both of us, we are planners and we need to have everything figured out ahead of time, or we will not have a good time. So I decided that we were going to go one day to a tournament, before we had other people and had to try and have fun. So this way, when we go in January, she can just have a great time. It's going to be her birthday present, and she'll just be able to have fun, and I will be able to have fun. So that will be Sunday, which means she will go to 2 college wrestling tournaments within a week. And they will be 2 very, very different college wrestling tournaments. So last night we went to a school. This is only their 2nd year with a wrestling program. It is a brand new wrestling program. We get to the athletic building. We walk in, and you have no clue where wrestling is happening in this building. No clue. Because off to the right, clearly those are basketball courts. And there's some kind of women's basketball thing happening. Definitely not wrestling. So the gal who gave us our tickets, she kind of explained where we had to go. And so we start walking that way. And lo and behold, there are these little signs on 8x11 paper that's been printed off that say wrestling with an arrow. So we follow the signs with the arrows and we go, and I kid you not, it is in half of a gym, just half a gym, with chairs put out for spectators. Just a few rows of chairs, okay? Not even that many chairs. And that's it. That was it. All right? Super small. I sat closer to the mat to watch this college wrestling tournament than I can sit at a high school wrestling tournament. We were basically mat side because we had a front row seat. I could have almost reached out and touched the coaches for the university for the team that we were supporting. It was an experience. It was a lot more intimate than any high school tournament I've ever been to, or any youth tournament I've ever been to. But it was fun. I mean, it was really, really cool because you got to see the guys really, really up close. And I mean, so it was really fun. Loved it. But Sunday, it will be a very, very, very different experience for Veda. I mean, and for me. So, but anyway, it was really cool, and it was really neat to see one of our own, if you will, wrestle in college. It was I think it was it may have been his very first bout in a tournament. They were in Iowa, I think, over the weekend, but I don't think he had wrestled yet in an actual tournament, as one of the weight classes. I could be wrong. Really, he did a good job. He's just an 18-year-old kid, brand new to the team. He did not win his bout, but I was still super proud. It was just really cool. It was really neat to see. And so, yeah, Sunday should be exciting. Off to the other side of the state we go, and that will be fun. Oh, did you know today is World Prematurity? Well, by the time you see this, it won't be, but it's the 17th of November is World Prematurity Day. I learned that this was a thing a couple of years ago, and I totally forgot about it till today again. But yeah, World Prematurity Day. And I mention it because that kind of means something to me. 3 of my 4 kids were preemies. 2 of them remained in the hospital for a length of time. 1 of them was born and had to be taken via special ambulance to a different hospital with a better equipped NICU. And I did not see or touch him for days until I was released from the hospital. And I was in a little bit longer than normal for both having had a C-section as well as having had preeclampsia. So that was insanely difficult. But World Prematurity Day, and it's like an awareness day. And I think it is really cool, the advances that have been made, so that now my 3 preemies are vibrant and healthy children today. You know, today you would have no clue that they were born as young as they were, as little as they were, as underdeveloped as they were. Just super duper awesome. So if you were a preemie, or if you have had preemies, thank science, thank technology, thank physicians and doctors and nurses. Oh, thank nurses. Just really, really cool. And in fact, my smallest baby was not my earliest, but my smallest baby was Evie, and I mentioned that. She was the birthday girl, the one who just turned 11. And at one point in her life, she was less than 5 pounds. And now she is proportionately my biggest kid. She had her well child check today, and she's still proportionately my biggest kid. She's almost like 90th percentile for height. It's just, it blows my mind. But she looks great. She's super healthy and she's doing really, really well, you know. But it's just crazy to me that this was my smallest kid and she stayed so tiny for her first several years. And then she just took off and she has been my biggest kid. Go figure. You just never know, right? Well, guys, it's been about an hour. So I should probably finish this off now, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to upload this video either. I'm going to have to think about that, because the weather's so crappy that I'm sure our internet connection is non-existent. Well, whenever you happen to see this, means I was able to upload it at some point, right? All right, well, thank you so much for sticking around here and listening to me kind of be a little bit crazy tonight. I really appreciate it a lot. And again, you know, thank you so much for joining the last WIP Chat with my daughter here. She was really tickled to do it. And when I read to her a couple of the comments and stuff, that just, totally made her week. She just loved it. So thank you so much for that. And just stick around. You know, I'll work on this painting, and hopefully if I encounter more static problems, I can give you more tips and tricks for how to deal with that. Anyway, like I always say, please practice kindness. Just be kind. You never know what someone's going through. They may have just spent hours dealing with staticky drills and have gotten very irritated and ornery. So just be kind to them, because you never know. And in return, I sincerely hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day and weekend, depending on when you listen to this, and just take care of yourself. And I will see you again real soon.